Ladies and gentlemen, India's real estate growth story is increasingly being shaped by public infrastructure. Uh, in northern part of the country, there was a lot of buzz which was triggered by the Ganga Expressway, then the Delhi-Meerut RRTS, and in Mumbai, in Bangalore, of course, because of the metro. And what this is doing, this is creating a new space, a new opportunity for real estate sector, because across the country, the logistics hubs which are coming along, these new public infrastructure which is being created. Of course, there are township opportunities which are coming up. So this session is where we will focus on the shift, where we're noticing that Tier 2, Tier 3 as well, a lot of expansion and new opportunities. And what does this shift mean? And without further ado, let's just get started. And my first question for you, sir. Would you concur that now what we're witnessing is the places which were considered to be on the periphery, right? Now they're becoming the investment hotspots, whether you're talking about Delhi NCR or some other regions of the country as well. So just give us a little bit of a, explanation on, elaborate, please. What is this shift, and if this is the right time for it? Because India, with a population of 1.5 billion people, definitely needs more hubs than just Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and some of the other big cities.
Well, as you know, the urbanization story of India, it is yet to reach its saturation level. Rather, we are just catching up that flight stage. So we are just about 32% population which is urbanized, whereas you see globally, it reaches a stage of around 60% or so population which is urbanized. And the results would be known after the latest census. Hence, the growth story around the urban areas will continue to grow. And as you mentioned that the peripheral areas which were not having the value increase earlier because of mainly the connectivity issues. I think as in your body, you have your main arteries, the main organs which are all connected, so blood flow has to be there. So I think transport, connectivity and connectivity within a certain period of time becomes extremely important if that is to be seen as an opportunity or not. Peripheral areas, because of those connectivity issues, they were having land prices which were far lower, and hence the growth opportunities there are the maximum once the connectivity increases. The way the prices in merit have skyrocketed after the RRTS,
Yeah,
it is testimony to that.
absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, places which were considered to be on the periphery now are investment hotspots, and Meerut being a case in point there. Mr. Kumar, let me come to you. Yeah. So looking ahead with these upcoming connectivity projects, whether it is expressways or metro expansions or RRTS corridors, do you believe it'll have the greatest impact on NCR's growth over the next decade, especially in the context of real estate?
See, before answering your question, we'd like to put some lights on the larger aspects.
Sure.
See, long back, like say after independence, it used to be first build the city, then build the road. And over a period when China, 1980, if you remember it, they decided, the slogan went, build the road first, then build the city. And that is how China, these corridors started booming up all across China. I mean, there's fundamental difference. We are democracy purely, and they are not. That's the difference. That's a separate part to discuss. But from 1980 to today, their economy has grown by almost 93 times. Because they were purely, the slogan was, let's build that corridor first. So from China, we can just very well recall that corridors are of the prime importance. And the latest example is Noida Expressway. I mean, right from Mahamaya to the Agra, the expressway was built long back. And now everything is happening around there. unlike the other city, whether it is your, say, Delhi, Chandigarh, or maybe like on a Delhi, Manesar sides.
Right.
So, and now your different Meerut corridor, of course, is there, then DMIC and several other factors. And with the now Noida International Airport now has been announced and operational as well. So you will see the fundamental difference, what happened in China, what will happen across the Noida belt now. So I am very much clear in today's world and future worlds, your whole economy has to revolve around the connectivity. Because we are a global now, where everybody is a global citizen, global exports, and logistics plays a very, very vital role in boosting the economy. I mean, like say, China is ruling the manufacturing. So every shipment is very crucial and important, and it's supposed to be loaded in the ship within 24 hours of the dispatch, wherever in the nation is. That target we have got to achieve it. So similarly in India, same kind of thing we have to achieve, because there will be import and export parallelly to boost the economy is essential. Fortunately, we have our in-house consumption is also very important. Right. But again, the country is very wide. So corridors all across India going to play a very, very vital role in boosting the economy. And we are very fortunate that entire Noida Express has already been built a long, long back. You will see the very boosting exports, oriented industries, domestic industries will be like mushrooming like anything across these corridors. Thank you.
Right. Mr. Mishra, let me come to you. So there is a paradigm shift clearly. Earlier, the approach was you build the town and eventually you build the roads, etc. And now, of course, you're building the roads and corridors first. And then, of course, townships are coming along it. As a group, for you, because you lead that group, right? Jindal Realty. So for you, has there been a change in focus? Are you also sort of, looking at allocating, reallocation of sorts, or for your resources, of your workforce, to take advantage of the kind of opportunities which are coming up for a group like yours?
You see, this, as Mr. Lohia was talking about, the urbanization thing, which is a natural growth for India, we as a group, we have seen it long time back. So we do have, for example, say about the Sonipat. Sonipat is a story which probably now we are seeing it, but after the connectivity as the urban express road and all those connectivity, now it is coming in the focus. So what I observed earlier, that in spite of having such a big center for the manufacturing hub, I will be surprised to know about the 20,000 industries within 20 minutes of Sonipat. So, but there was a quality housing was not there. So this is what exactly we have repositioned ourselves to provide a very good quality housing at the Sonipat or other tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and which is the need of the hour also. So once we do that, it will satisfy the aspiration of the people also. It will also add to the growth of the story and the expansion plans.
Right. Bhaumik, you should have some interesting insights to share with us, because you're somebody, who's been researching this subject and topic for years now. So do share some of that with us, because, of course, the opening remarks of all the guests have clearly painted this picture that, yes, it's happening. The expansion and the pace of it in Tier 2 and Tier 3 has also sort of, really gone rapidly in recent past. So just share some of your initial thoughts with us.
So I would like to begin with the fact that if you consider in terms of like the metropolitan region planning, Mumbai metropolitan area is around 2,500 square kilometers. And if you consider Tokyo metropolitan area, it's around 55 to 6,000 square kilometers. So you're trying to see the scale at which the Tokyo metropolitan area has been developed. They have a dense network of railways everywhere. You go within Tokyo anywhere, within a kilometer or within a kilometer and a half, you have a railway station. So that's the level of planning which has happened in terms of transport development in Tokyo. They also have a lot of urban highways, by the way, and they have leveraged really well in terms of like growing vertically. In terms of now coming to NCR, NCR is almost 3 times that of Tokyo. So you have to take into consideration that NCR has to develop like 3 times in terms of what Tokyo has developed till now. So whatever is happening in terms of NCR, in terms of connecting the regional corridors, regional areas. So if you see the RRTS plan, if you see the Delhi Metro expansion plan, they have done a phenomenal and amazing job in terms of connecting. But the thing is, that has been connecting zip codes. What we need in cities right now is connecting neighborhood mobility and connecting people to these metro stations and these railway stations. So how do we achieve that? If you see, take global case examples, cities of Chicago, New York, London, wherever you take, every house within that city has a bus stop within 250 meters. We did a research back in 2024 where we found out that 31% of Delhi residents, like the buildings, do not have a bus stop within 500 meters. So that's a gap where we are trying to address, we should try to address in terms of like, you know, how people access these metro stations, access these transport corridors. And that is something we need to start from, like, and that's where the concept of like the 15-minute walkable cities, and then there is also this concept of like the long-term 30-minute NCR. So it will only be achieved if the systems are connected and there is ample supply of transport continuously there. So if I see a bus, if I see a metro, first thing you have to understand, wherever I go to a metro station, I know that the next metro is going to come within 4 to 5 minutes. But that's not the case with a bus right now in our cities. So when you have that kind of dependency, when you have that kind of predictability, that's when people will travel faster. And in terms of connecting, in terms of like the regional mobility also, something that NCR has done very nicely is roll out the premium bus aggregator scheme. So in that, people, this concept of like bus being the poor man's transport, but that has been completely squashed by, you know, people paying almost 200 rupees per ride in Mumbai to go from their homes to office. So that if you provide premium services, if you provide good quality buses, that's when people will travel, and that's how you take people from cars to like public transit.
We'll talk about that mindset and that change in mindset, which is required a little later. But there's an interesting point you touched upon there, and that was, of course, 15-minute cities, right? And one of the most ambitious proposals under the Draft Regional Plan 2041 is the vision of 30-minute NCR. And enabled by, of course, rapid transit systems, including metro, and how transformative this concept could be to decongest a city like Delhi, because all of us, while coming to Bharat Mandapam, I'm sure, must have faced some of it. I mean, we must have gotten stuck. We must have taken longer than we intended to. So do you think this could be the way we solve this problem?
Well, 30 minutes is too optimistic.
I see.
Because we had tried to have a master plan in terms of the connectivity times.
So how about 45 minutes?
It will be, means how you define that 45 minutes or 30 minutes. Is it just from home
Let's say within
to
Delhi.
office?
Yeah.
Is it from home to office during peak time? So there are various definitions. So it is not just 30 minutes. So 30 minutes at what time?
You're hedging all your bets.
Right. So normally it is defined that if you can reach in peak time this kind of NCR in 1 hour, it is good because the expense is so big. Chandigarh can be designed to be a 25-minute city because the expense is not that large. So it will depend upon city to city. It is not just one size fit all. So you'll have to have in mind while designing a city and master planning that city and also the region, because city becomes an administrative entity. People do not obey that administrative entity as far as their living is concerned. So if a corridor is there, just like the Greater Noida Expressway, and if the amenities, etc., and the ecosystem is there, so they will like to stay there, and the offices might be somewhere else. So there is a lot of to and fro which is going to happen. So how exactly it is going to be addressed in that peak time? So that has to be taken care of, as my colleague from ICCT was saying. What kind of modes you are having, what kind of stoppages you are having. So you need RRTS if you are going from, let's say, Delhi onwards to Meerut, up to Meerut. So Delhi to Meerut, you complete in an hour. So that was the design parameter which was kept when we conceived RRTS. That RRTS would be connecting the origin to destination, the longer distance, in an hour. Even Delhi, Gurgaon, Rewari, Alwar, to Rewari, that was also conceived. But what we found that people will not come from Rewari directly to Delhi. So from Rewari, they'll be coming to Gurgaon. That is how the travel pattern is. And from Gurgaon to Delhi. So all those trips will be completed within an hour. So even though Delhi to Rewari would be about 2 hours, but the trip would be completed within an hour. And then you have to disperse. So dispersal will happen through metro, buses. And it is not important that you have a metro station right at your back. The way the gated communities are constructed today, Gurgaon is a live example. You might have the metro right at your back, but you'll need 1.5 kilometer of detour to reach that metro station. So how exactly you do your transit-oriented development, your sectoral planning, connectivity, how do you keep the pedestrian in mind, the public transit connectivity, because unless until you do that, you will have congestion. Once you have congestion, so your productive time will be spent on roads,
right,
as you just rightly mentioned.
Right.
So I think transport connectivity, multimodal connectivity, their integration before the entire city layout is to be planned. So land use and transport integration right at the stage of planning.
And perhaps, Mr. Mishra, you can come in here. And perhaps Noida and Gurugram, the kind of mess sometimes that we see. And Noida is a little better, at least in terms of traffic and some of the other public infrastructure. But Gurugram of late sort of, has become congested. That these two cities can serve as examples for these new cities which are coming along, especially in tier 2 and tier 3 areas. I mean, on the peripheries perhaps now of Meerut, because real estate in Meerut also, the prices there have gone up. So do you think that's a good idea?
You see, if I say it's a good idea, I think it's a requirement.
Sure.
You see, because seeing to the Gurugram, any number of flyover you construct, that we have seen it.
Yeah.
Any flyover construct, it's only a matter of time they get congested. Because last year in India, we sold about 4.5 million cars. And you know how much road is required to accommodate that? It's more than 13,000 kilometers, only for a year's sale. So every year, whatever the car sales, the transport, the personal transport is being sold. So there is a need for this public transport. And regarding what my friend told about it, is from home to that public transport place, whether it's a metro or whether it's a bus stop. So the need of the hour for the new cities, the last mile connectivity, a very efficient last mile connectivity by the non-motorized transport, either by walking or by cycling, not more than that. So if that is instituted, then only these congestions can be removed. Otherwise, any amount of construction of roads and all will not serve at all.
Right. It's interesting. All of you have been emphasizing that the public transport system is really necessary, right, to decongest. And of course, but interestingly, Delhi has a metro. And peak hours, you're talking about a traffic of 25 lakh odd people, right? Perhaps even more, sometimes even 40, right? But still, the congestion on the road and elsewhere is something which is still noticeable. Sir, if you'd come in and tell us, how can we perhaps address this issue in the new cities we're developing? Let me get your thoughts and then I'll come to you, Bhaumik.
See, I appreciate Delhi is a different, it's a historical city and everything has been planned later. And the later planning is just a adjustment. It cannot be a good planning. Never it can be as required. It is well planned, of course, to the maximum of the planning ability and the given, because parameters are already given. Now we are planning. Now the things have, like you see, there is a paradigm shift. What is now, like suppose in India, your expressway density is say around 1.5 kilometer in 100 square kilometer at the moment. And it needs to be at least 4 times or 5 times bigger than that to meet the scale of upcoming Indian economy next 20 years. So that government is taking care of. There's large meaning. And especially if you see in a developed country, your expressway, like we are having Ganga Expressway, along the river is always successful because you have a water along it, anyhow, whatever. And water bed also is available on a very low level along the river belt. So because once you make the expressway, then you are expected to have your industrialization across it. And then housing. Housing means commercial, everything. That's real estate. But real estate also have to be controlled. It should be like 30-35% of real estate and 65-70% of the industrial and job-giving devices. As you say, I'm calling it devices. So it has to be a good combination of expressway, then housing, real estate means, and 70%, 65% of industrial or job opportunities are IT, ITS, semiconductor, or whatever the thing is, it has to give job. So if you plan your city that way, then you plan metro and everything. So what sir said, last mile connectivity will be by cycling or by walking would be very easy. So interestingly, India is only 36% urbanized as on date. So rest of the urbanization, because these 4, 5, 6 top cities are already choked. So if urbanization further is not possible here. But as a good economy of say 25, 27, 26 trillion, what we are planning by 1947, we need to have some very big urbanization number, 55 to 75%. Right. So these corridors, that's why I say those will be fundamental requirement of the new economy scale of the India.
Sure.
And this will connect everything. So that's very useful corridors, and every connectivity issue will be resolved. But current choke city, whatever we plan, it will be in problem.
Yeah, what's already built, I mean, you can only just do minor adjustments there, which is what we notice in Gurugram, Delhi, Mumbai perhaps as well. Now that we have just a few more minutes left, Bhaumik, let me come to you.
Abhishek, 30 seconds on this because what you said is relevant.
Please.
But when you talked about Delhi or the choked cities, you see the primary reason is the public transport is required.
See, I think we're being unfair to Bangalore. We're being unfair to Delhi because we haven't mentioned Bangalore, we haven't mentioned Mumbai situations pretty much.
All 4, 5 cities.
Exactly.
All the metros to that extent. The primary reason is a common there. From your home, when you reach your office, your workplace, or a shopping place, there are multiplicity of the agencies. See the case, you're coming from your home, so the developers takes you up to the gate, then the municipal corporation takes you up to the bus stop, wherever is the place. There are a lot of encroachment. There is some other agency to remove the encroachment. There is a flooding, some other agencies. So the walkability to up to that place. And as the same thing goes when you get down from the metro or public transport. So you prefer, what do you prefer? You prefer that you from your home, you take a car from the parking basement, go to the right place, whatever time it takes. Until there is a holistic and one agency gets involved in this process is going to remain. Even the new cities are going to get choked like this.
Okay, Bhaumik, let me come to you and let this question be common for everybody. I mean, I'll perhaps change a few things here and there going forward. But having said that, let me start with you. Let's talk about, some challenges. I mean, we've been, on the government's part, there's been intent. It's been a key focus area for the government. We've seen it in the union budget as well, right? And of course, there is a clear plan to develop tier 2, tier 3 cities further and further. But that said, where are we facing the biggest challenge? We have the intent. The government is also serious. I mean, we have, leadership of some, big real estate organizations. We just heard from some of them in the previous sessions. Where are we getting stuck? What's the problem?
One thing I always keep on saying to people that we need to build transport in cities to move people and not cars. So that's one thing we need to be very clear in terms of what we plan. And how that can be achieved is right now, if you see the cities, you have Gurgaon, and even if you go to Mumbai, Bangalore, you have these amazing residential complexes being developed, which has all the amenities. But as soon as you step outside those residential complexes, it is all like, I don't want to be here. So what we have to do in terms of this as planners or as policymakers or anybody who's in power is make sure that this development happens, which is integrated development. And this is the word which is missing everywhere. The integrated development that is supposed to happen with one single agency seeing the entire regional planning at scale. So this can be any of your this can be a municipal agency, or this can be like MMRDA, what we have in Mumbai, or the National Capital Regional Planning Board. So in this case, we have to make sure that there is coordination being established, because right now the projects, the way it is being developed, even if you look at Mumbai Metro, each line is like a different agency. So everybody is building projects. Everybody's building projects. They are not building a transport system. You have a bus, which is a separate project. You have your auto rickshaws and everything, permits, which is a separate project. You have metros, RRTS. So if there is a single planning authority that overlooks this integration, then we can potentially look at like lowering congestion and making sure that people's people's convenience from going from home to their office, it's much more easier in that term. So I think a single planning authority overlooking and integrated planning is something we should definitely
Sounds
focus
like a
on.
good idea, sir.
Well, I'll sum it up. Our focus is certainly missing. We are working from part to whole, not from whole to part. So the entire story has to be reversed. So what we are having is excellence inside. So world class to third class, that transition is immediate. So that kind of thing will happen. Disintegrated kind of planning will happen. Noida, you are saying better. Why? Because the infrastructure came first.
Yeah.
Gurgaon, because it was left to the developers. So they developed islands of excellence, and you get flooded as soon as you are outside. So I think unless until the focus is there, you see the bodies who are doing planning, they do not have even the manpower. They do not even have the transport planners who are going to plan your cities which are going to give you 60 to 70% of GDP. Who are these people? You do not even have the bodies there. There are no even post-sanction. So how are you going to have the world-class cities? So
Sir,
we are planning.
Mr. Kumar, I know.
Sir, we are lovely democracy, and we are lovely democracy.
I mean, what choice, perhaps? I mean, if you would respond to the charge that, these islands of excellence, which have been developed by developers on their own, perhaps have been the cause of this problem that we are facing, which is what the government is trying to solve. But then Bhaumik pointed out that at the same time, you have so many different agencies running the same metro that leads to other set of problems.
See,
But what will your be response?
I will say in a very positive manner, in the last, after independence, in 60 years, we were almost a $1 trillion US economy, only USD economy, only initial 60 years. And now we are 4 and rocking to 25. So thanks to developer, thanks to you people, all planners, at least we progressed in the last 15 years from at least 4 times. So, see, developments is always like this, and it's especially country like India, where economy was very, very low till 2005-6. Rather, this was a very low numbers compared to the countries what we talk about. So we talk about China, we talk about Germany, we talk about USA. They are much, much, much ahead, larger. So that's why at least now this Ganga Expressway, different DMIC, many things are happening place, new airports are coming in. So picture is very rosy, at least for me, because I have born in 65, I have seen the progress from those roads to this. This is fabulous growth for India, definitely. Congratulations to everyone. Congratulations.
All right. Mr. Mishra, your last remarks, and we will wrap up with that.
You see, as for the future, I think very positive about it, because when the growth story happens, the corrective measures also starts happening. In fact, what we are talking about is a kind of a dialogue which is happening everywhere. So the need of the public transport, as we have talked about, the need of a quality housing, which probably has been seen in earlier sessions also, this is all growing up. So that way, India has a great story to come up. At the same time, all those concerns need to be addressed in a holistic manner. And as Mr. Lohia said, that is from the whole to part, that becomes the need of the hour.
All right. It's great to see, this kind of frank conversation. I mean, we have a researcher here, we have developers here, and we have had somebody who's served in the government as well. And this is the kind of frank conversation, perhaps, which will lead to the kind of projects that we want to see come up, the kind of cities that we perhaps deserve to live in. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you.